Will Tim Tebow bring Denver its first postseason appearance since 2005? To do so, the Broncos must defeat the man who was their opening day starter at quarterback, Kyle Orton, who comes in here with Kansas City playing the spoiler role, they hope, today. And again, it'll be either Denver or Oakland out of the West, as the Chargers and the Raiders are playing at the same time. A Denver loss here and an Oakland win would give the title in the West to Oakland. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Bill Sims. So Denver, a win, and they're in. They take the division. You almost can't even make up this story. It's so good, with Orton coming back here to try to defeat the Denver plans.
You're right. You can't make it up. You know, a phrase or a cliche that I hate, always hearing, oh, it's all about the quarterback. Well, today it's true. It is about the quarterback. Think about the situation they're both in, the nerves. Who can settle down the fastest might show us a lot who's going to win the football game.
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Yeah, I said it too.
It is all about the quarterback today. Now, what a storyline it is, as Denver will be kicking off with Matt Prater. The Broncos won the toss and elected to kick it away. They'll take it in the third quarter instead. Arenas is back to receive the kick. In fact, if there is a return. There have been only 3 returns by the opponents this year, as Prater delivers another touchback here at home in the Mile High City. And here comes Kyle Orton directing Kansas City, his third start as a Chief. And these last 2 games, he's thrown for 299 and 300. And that first game was a win over, at the time, undefeated Green Bay. So he's had this offense clicking. There's Wigman, the 16-year center, his 200th consecutive start. And the biggest vertical threat for the Chiefs is Dwayne Bowe, with his third 1,000-yard season. So Thomas Jones is the running back. Jackie Battle is inactive today because of a foot injury. And it's Jones. He's met a yard behind the line of scrimmage and falls forward for 2 yards, carrying Dumerville with him. The Denver defense that sends 3 defenders in all to the Pro Bowl, including Dumerville, including Von Miller, the rookie, who's playing for the 4th consecutive game with a cast on his hand because of ligament damage in a wrist. And Champ Bailey, who's going for the 11th time. Bruton, by the way, starts for Brian Dawkins, who is out because of a neck injury. On second down and 8. Little cutback. Picks up only 2 for Jones. All right, Phil, give us a little philosophy here.
Well, I think the big story here today, can the Kansas City Chiefs give Kyle Orton enough time to throw, play action pass, bring the linebackers up, look at the separation of room that he has to throw it, down the field, gets to play the big play to Terrence Copper. That's what the Chiefs, that's what they have to do. Their offensive line, it's okay protecting the passer, the strength of Denver's defense, the outside rushers.
Third down and 6. And they go shotgun with McCluster flanking the quarterback. Orton's throw is complete for the first. Connects with Baldwin, the rookie out of Pitt. They took in the first round last spring. Good for 10 yards.
Yeah, it was. Quick throwing on obvious passing situations. That's what they do with Kyle Orton. He's very accurate, I think, throwing the football, especially when he throws it short and to the sidelines. But we talked about it, Jim, the big concern. That's all they talk. Where the edge for Denver is, their defensive line must win this battle today and give those outside pass rushers a chance to be a big factor.
Here's Orton on first down. Got one-on-one coverage and an open man. And Dwayne Bowe with the catch. There is a flag down of one-on-one coverage with Champ Bailey defending. That went for 21. We'll check the flag. Pete Morelli and his crew officiating here.
Well, that's a big matchup. Dwayne Bowe against Champ Bailey.
Illegal contact. Number 24, defense. Penalties declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Now they played a lot of one-on-one matches over the year, and that was a nice move by Dwayne Bowe. He looks back to Kyle Orton. Champ Bailey does also, and it allows him to get down the field. Does he get 2 feet in? Looks like he did.
Boy, just barely. And they moved the ball to the Denver side of the field. At the 45, McCluster bounced around and was able to pick up 5, maybe 6. Romeo Crennel, 1-1 as the interim coach, taking over December 11th for Todd Haley, and he seems to be a very good fit for this Kansas City Chief team.
Well, Romeo Crennel, talking to him last night, just said, I know it's a short version, only a couple games, Jim, but he says it's a lot easier. The fact that I have experience of being a head coach, taking over in a situation like this.
And what a debut. This game as the coach beats Green Bay. And the Packers' only loss. A 2nd and 4. And a flag brings a halt to this.
False start. Number 67 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You know, with Orton at quarterback, it's been pretty efficient here as you see the little jumpiness by the Chiefs on the right side with Richardson. They've been over 400 yards total offense with Orton in both games as a starter.
Yeah, they've done a good job moving the football, Jim. The problem is they're not getting enough reward. They move it, they're kicking field goals or making mistakes inside the 10-yard line going in to score. Last week, big one, Kyle Orton threw an interception.
Just barely beat the play clock. 2nd down and 9 and jarred loose. That was going to Preston. DJ Williams coming in and popping it out. Incomplete.
Yeah, there's a free guy on the inside. DJ Williams, he just runs through it, almost gets the interception. He was trying to cover McCluster, the two guys that this Broncos defense, they picked out. Dexter McCluster, that's one guy, number 22, and Dwayne Bowe. Anytime you get a chance, hit them. And, of course, they'll double cover Dwayne Bowe when given the opportunity.
T-Bow bouncing around, ready to get his first chance. His defense can make a stop right here. 3rd down and 9. And Orton's pass incomplete. So Kansas City will complete the season without an opening drive touchdown. All 16 games failing to advance it down to the end zone. Only team in the league without one this year.
Well, good coverage on the outside and a very safe throw by Kyle Orton. Andre Goodman could overplay that type of route because he knew he had a safety helping him in case Baldwin went deep.
Dustin Colquitt, a battle of the Colquitt brothers today, the punting position. Dustin the older of the two, with Britton handling the duties for the Broncos. And he's got the fair catch at the 10-yard line. Eddie Royal, that's a 34-yard punt, just what the Chiefs were wanting. Tebow will start at the 10. Back here in Denver, Jim Nantz and Phil Simms. And the Broncos with Tim Tebow with their first possession. And Tim telling us on Friday this was the best week of practice with the Broncos they'd had all year long. Actually, we'll call it from the 11, and they'll run it to begin things on their side with McGahee picking up a couple. It's the 2nd youngest offensive line in the NFL, second only to Seattle. The veteran, if you will, 6th-year man, Chris Cooper, who the Bronco coaching staff felt was Pro Bowl worthy this year. McGahee has his 4th 1,000-yard rushing season, and it's coming with 3 different teams now in his career. Buffalo, Baltimore, and now at Denver. The Broncos the #1 rushing attack in the NFL on 2nd and 8, running the option, and is well covered up as Ball is stopped for a loss of 1. We've got an update. Back to JB and Boomer.
Baltimore looking to clinch the AFC North.
And the #2 seed in the AFC playoffs. What a way to start the game. Ray Rice is going to take off 70 yards. Everybody perfectly blocked. 7-0 over the young upstart Cincinnati Bengals.
Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
All right, guys, and that's exactly what Ray did in a playoff game at New England. Remember that a couple years ago, went 80 yards on the first play of the game. And if Cincinnati loses that game, Tennessee would take the wild card berth. And the 6th spot on 3rd down, Tebow is stopped 2 yards short of a first by Derek Johnson.
Well, very conservative play calls by the Broncos. You know, one of the things I wanted to say, Jim.
As you see Greg, the former Raven, on that line. And Johnson making that tackle, his first Pro Bowl. And McGraw is out today with a high ankle injury, so Piscatelli takes over for him. Where are we going to finish there, Phil?
Well, I was thinking maybe they would let Tim Tebow and the receivers get in the flow of the game early, but John Fox likes to play it close to the vest.
Whitten Colquitt's punt to Arenas. Got a nice block, and he's past the 40. And then triple teamed at about the 43. 51-yard punt, 12-yard return. Good starting field position for the second series for Orton and the Chiefs. All right, this AFC playoff picture that had so many different possibilities at the beginning of the day, but the Jets losing to Miami, they're out. And again, Tennessee, reviewing that situation again, the Titans need both Denver and Oakland to win their home games, as well as a Baltimore victory over Cincinnati to give the Titans the 6th spot.
Is that all?
That's it.
Okay.
Of course, Cincinnati can take care of business by beating Baltimore and claim that 6th spot outright, but they're down 7 early. Scoreless at the start here, and that's Thomas Jones being run out of bounds after a gain of 6.
Well, we talked to Kyle Orton last night, and kept kind of quiet this week, didn't he? And coming back here to play, and he made no bones about it. He is extremely excited, and of course, the situation how he left Denver, of course he wants to play a great game today.
Well, he said, you know, the fact remains, when somebody cuts you, they're telling you you're not good enough to be on the roster. He's ready for this occasion today. 2nd down and 4. Pump fake, going down the field. Got an open man. It's Bo. 35-yard line and down near the 30.
Well, that was just a beautiful route by Dwayne Bowe. We saw the out and up. Watch this one. The slant and go, and no, he breaks it out. Excellent footwork. Kyle Orton, I heard Champ Bailey say to people that the one thing you have to worry when you play against Kyle Orton, he is a very good back shoulder thrower of the football. So that's what you're expecting. So when Dwayne Bowe breaks out, tough to cover.
That's 22 gained on that one. That's twice that Bowe has beaten Bailey. First down from the 30. Jones patient at the start of this run, and then scampers out of bounds after 4. Let's go back to JB and Boomer. Another update in New York.
Detroit trying to secure the 5th seed, Boom.
Back and forth they go. Matt Stafford throws his 5th touchdown pass. This one to Tony Scheffler. He's got 41 TD passes on the year. First game ever where both quarterbacks have thrown for over 400 yards and 5 touchdown passes.
Talk about a shootout. Back to Jim. And
all right, guys, outbound Stafford, and Flynn playing for Aaron Rodgers has 4 touchdown tosses of his own. Incomplete, as Jones had 2 Broncos all over him, and Orton had pressure to contend with.
Yeah, one thing, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, they love to get Kyle Orton outside the pocket. That's how you protect your offensive line. Move the quarterback around, and when they block it up and they move Kyle Orton outside the pocket, look out. He's trying to go down the field for a score.
Terrence Copper comes in as an extra receiver. He had a good game last week against Oakland. 3rd and 6. And that is incomplete. Thrown in the direction of Steve Breston. Goodman defending.
Yeah, it's good coverage by Andre Goodman one more time, and Kansas City keeps everybody in to help protect Kyle Orton, so there's very few options to look for down the field.
Ryan Suckup comes in with Colquitt to hold. He's made 24 out of 29 on the season. He was blocked twice last week by Richard Seymour of the Raiders. 44 yards on the way, and the kick is wide left. So the Broncos will take over at the 34. Scoreless first quarter at Denver. The college level, starting as a graduate assistant at San Diego State back in the 70s. This is his 500th game on the sideline, including 9 years as the head coach at Carolina, and took him to a Super Bowl. Nearly won that Super Bowl down in Houston.
Well, I think when that team met after that Buffalo game, John Fox gave the whole football team a little bit of a, what's the word, tongue lashing. I think that's a good word for it.
That's a nice way to put it. That's coming back to Tebow. He was wanting to go long to duck it, but they had it covered. And now Tebow just throws it away. Brandon Carr was back there, not fooled at all. Justin Houston then was back in on Tebow, forcing the throw away.
Well, it's a flea flicker, of course, Jim, and it's a good fake. They take it up the line, Willis McGahee, and down the field. I would have let it gone. You know, you had Eric Decker running down the field. Watch what happens. That's Brandon Carr. You got him. Look at the separation. Throw it to the sideline over the top. But early in the game, trying to be careful. Don't want to turn it over. That's all he hears all week long. Hard to pull the trigger.
Second down at 10. And McGahee picks up about 6. Willis McGahee, he tweaked a hamstring 2 weeks ago against New England. And he's been kind of in and out. We've got a lineman down. It's Cooper. We talked about had a very good season. And we'll take a break here in the first quarter. In the league that had their offensive line intact for the whole season. And now Chris Cooper gets injured. And they called immediately for the cart.
Somewhere on his left leg, left ankle, not real sure. You see Orlando Franklin, the right tackle, coming down there, and actually I think he's the one that falls on him. And Jim, you said you talked about Chris Cooper, played so well, and he's a guy that gives that offensive line like an attitude.
We pause for a minute here. Let's go back to New York. JB with another update.
Oakland trying to get to the postseason.
Oakland has to win. Denver has to lose. That's the only way they can go in. Darius Hayward-Bay makes a 3-yard touchdown reception right here from Carson Palmer. Oakland up early, 7-0.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
All right, so Carson Palmer throwing that touchdown pass to Hayward-Bay. And here, I've already put the air cast on Chris Cooper's left leg. The 6-year man out of North Dakota, who's had quite a season, Phil. Ryan Clady, who's a really strong presence at left tackle, gets a lot of attention, rightfully so, but Cooper at right guard.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking for the words to describe how they talk about him. He just had, like I said, that attitude, a toughness. There's no doubt you need at least 2 or 3 really tough guys in that offensive line, and Chris Cooper was one of them.
And the crowd gives him a Coop salute. Russ Holstein will be coming in for him, the former Patriot. Keep your fantasy football season going with Playoff Challenge and compete against the nation for a chance to win $5,000. Sign up at cbssports.com/challenge. So it's a third down again. Third and 4. Tebow's pass intended for Eddie Royal.
I think you saw Tim Tebow that time, what they were doing. They get the defense, they look at it, he makes a check, they go with the pass down the field, trying to throw a back shoulder throw to Eddie Royal, but Savvy Piscatelli, excellent coverage, nowhere to throw the football.
So Britton Colquitt, who was an unsung hero in the Broncos win at Kansas City, had 4 punts down inside the 20 in that one. We're trying to do the same right here from 5 yards back.
Offense, 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
Be punting to a returner right there. It ranks number 3 in the NFL punt return average. Javier Arenas, who had 7 punt return touchdowns while at the University of Alabama. And he didn't catch all of this one. It's at the 31. Oh, but what a generous rollout. All the way to the 10-yard line. 55 yards it measures. 6.5 to go, first quarter. And scoreless here at Denver. Well, when you have 2 sons on opposite sidelines, this is how Ann Colquitt shows no partiality to the two boys, Dustin and Britton. And the Chiefs run it here with McClain in a gain of 4. Kyle Orton, when he was here at Denver, he started 33 games. Thought he played well that first year here, and then they went out and drafted Tebow in the first round.
Yeah, it caught him by surprise. He said nobody ever really talked to him about it. But Jim, you and I we've talked about this many times. When you're on a team and you're a quarterback, and I don't care how you play, if they draft somebody in the first round, that clock is ticking against you.
2nd and 6, McCluster somehow got away from all of that heavy traffic and picks up the first down. Stutter step move, frees him for 7.
Yeah, it was a good move. This is Dexter McCluster. They want to get the football to him as many times as they can. And what a good move up the field that time by Robert Ayers. 91, McCluster quick enough, jump stop, gets inside and gets a first down.
Three in the backfield behind Orton. And the Broncos came rushing through there. It looked like the Chiefs didn't know who they were supposed to block. Marcus Thomas was in the backfield in a hurry.
Yeah, just a lot of confusion here. You could see Leonard Pope pointing to the left. And I think what they wanted to do, Jim, is go down the field, but the pass protection was not there. So Kyle Orton, good job of getting rid of the football. Talking to Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, they want to be aggressive today. What's that mean? Man-to-man coverage and blitz. Kyle Orton.
2nd down and 10. Orton back to Bo, who somehow comes down with it. They ruin a catch at the 38, right over Champ Bailey. I thought Bailey might make a pick here.
It did. He was in perfect position, but it is an unbelievable throw by Kyle Orton to the outside, and those feet are in. How about that catch? Dwayne Bowe, left, right, and then holds on to the football as he goes to the ground.
You know, we're talking to Orton and all that experience against his Denver defense, his former teammates in practice. He said, you know, you just got to stay away from number 24. He's thrown him 3 times, completed all 3 as Jones burst ahead for 3 or 4. How about that as a factor here, how well the Broncos would know Orton, or even moreover, how Orton would know that Denver defense?
I think it just comes to this. They know each other physically, and besides that, I don't know how much you could get out of it, Jim. What did Kyle Orton tell us? He goes, hey, I never paid attention to our defense. I was running our offense and looking at the opposing defenses on film. I had to watch it this week to learn some of the coverage that the Broncos have been playing this year.
You saw Denver defensive coordinator Dennis Allen. 2nd down and 6. Orton's got all kinds of protection, and he's got another completion. They rule him down. That was Bo with his 4th catch of the quarter. Goes for 5. Back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms, a Packer record coming up.
Well, Matt Flynn has done something that neither Aaron Rodgers nor Brett Favre. He's thrown for 480 yards, Packer record, and 6 touchdown passes. More importantly, Detroit could slide to the 6th seed, play New Orleans in the first round because Atlanta is killing Tampa Bay right now, 21-0.
Way to cover it, boom. Back to Jim and Phil.
Wow, 6 touchdown passes by Flynn. 3rd and 1 here. Jones, Thomas Jones. Looks like the spot's going to give him the first.
Well, it's a good job. Little things always count in situations like this. And a veteran quarterback, Kyle Orton, comes up. They know they really are not going to overpower the defense in front of the Broncos, so catch them off guard. The quick snap count, Jim, it's just enough. That little edge allowed Thomas Jones to get that first down.
Again, this is a drive that began back at the 10-yard line. Kansas City out first downing Denver 6-0.
51.
Good play action fake. Got the ball down the field and incomplete. This time Bailey reaches in, denies the completion to Baldwin. Back to New York for another update.
A familiar ring, Rivers to Gates.
Chargers aren't going to go away. This is 38 yards. Rivers to Gates on 3rd and 9. The extra point, 7-7. Game is tied towards the end of the first quarter.
And keep in mind, Oakland can only get in by winning the AFC West title. Back to Jim and Phil.
Yes, they would need to win, the Raiders would, and they would need Denver to fall here to win that West. Second down and 10. McCluster showing that speed, and he's got 10.
Watch what they're doing. You got the Denver Broncos thinking pass. Look at the nice block. Ryan Lilja, the left guard, makes the hole there. Brandon Albert, left tackle, seals it, and a big running lane up inside.
And Casey Wigman also carving out a huge hole in the middle of the field.
Well, Kansas City offense dominating so far here early.
There is Casey. Has not missed a snap in over 10 seasons, over 11,000 snaps. First down, Orton. He is sacked for the first time as a Chief. He had not been sacked in his 2 previous starts, but Robert Ayers gets a hold of him.
Well, the initial read, that's what causes it. Robert Ayers just gets off the block of Barry Richardson. But because he looks down the field, the first and second receivers were covered. That extra time, and we always talk about it, give the defensive line that half a beat more. And there is nobody open. They let the receivers just run right into the coverage.
Second down and 15. We get a lot of it back. They lost 5 on the sack, and Bo with another catch.
Well, I know it's early. It's the first quarter, but I can tell you this. That football is coming out of that hand of Kyle Orton pretty clean. Nothing but spirals, and they are right on target.
You've always liked the way he throws the football.
Well, there's nothing to argue with about that. And I think every year he stayed in the NFL, he said it last night, I am getting better physically. And what he means by that, when he sees something, he can be accurate and throw the football exactly where he wants it to go.
The veteran with 68 prior starts, 34 and 34 record. Chicago, Denver, and Kansas City. Hands it to McCluster on third down. He's got the first, and he's down to the 22-yard line. Ryan Lilja again helped open a hole for 16.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to Bill Muir. This is their favorite draw play. It's a little sprint draw. He's going to run out. Look at that. They read the outside in, and that was awesome. They got Jason Hunter to come up the field. See number 90? Now you don't have to block him. Go down the field and block somebody else. And McCluster, we talked about him. McCluster, Dwayne Bowe, those are the 2 dynamic guys. Can you get the football to them enough in this game?
Another first down. Here it is, McCluster. No one's touched him yet at the 10, at the 5. McCluster's in for the touchdown.
That looked almost exactly like the play that we saw last week when C.J. Spiller. Look at the blocking up front. Everybody stays to their guy. Nobody gets off, has backside containment, and McCluster. Excellent cutback and the speed to get it done. Anthony Beck. Good block on Von Miller. Well, what a series for Kyle Orton, Dwayne Bowe, and McCluster.
They drive 90 yards. It's only the 5th rush touchdown of the season for the Chiefs, lowest in the league, and that's the first rushing touchdown of the year for the second-year man out of Ole Miss. In fact, it's his first ever rush touchdown now in his second season again.
You know, Jim, again, give the credit to the Chiefs. They have getting the football to their playmakers. Not always easy to do.
Comes with 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. Second's extra point is good. And we know about Denver's doldrums in the second quarter. Well, they look a lot more dynamic, this team at Kansas City with Kyle Orton at quarterback.
Well, it's just so many things I think have opened up over the last 6 weeks because he's in there. When the opportunity is there to make a play from the quarterback position, Kyle Orton is getting it done. And again, one more time, just a cutback. And those cutbacks happen for a lot of reasons. But you got to give the offensive line a lot of credit. They're able to hit the defenders, and the defenders can't get off the blocks fast enough to get those cutback runs.
Well, Kyle Orton had told us he had hoped they could establish the run enough to get Denver into single safety coverage And he's hooked up 5 times with Bo, as you mentioned. Such a big part of that first quarter dominance by the Kansas City offense, and that opened up McCluster for a run like that. Matt Castle was, of course, the starter the first 9 weeks of the season. There's Matt, on injured reserve with a hand injury. And he's been, we've been noticing on the sideline, spending a lot of time with Orton, lending a helping hand. And then it was Tyler Alco before they gave the job to Orton. Romeo, one of his first decisions as Willis does not run it out. One of the first things Romeo decided to do was, I'm going to establish this quarterback thing right now.
He learned from the Cleveland Brown experience. When you're talking about 2 quarterbacks, it's a distraction to the team. So he is named head coach. He said Kyle Orton or Ricky Stanzi will be my quarterback. He wasn't sure if Kyle Orton was going to be healthy enough, but he found out in practice he was ready to go, and Kyle Orton is the man.
All right, so the Broncos, who had the 7-0 lead in the last 2 games against New England and Buffalo, only to get trounced in the end, now find themselves down 7-zip. As McGahee is stuffed after a run of about a yard. That'll close out the quarter.
First quarter.
After 1, Kansas City 7, Denver nothing. And we'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It was a one-sided first quarter. 9 first downs for the Chiefs, none for the Broncos. That 90-yard touchdown drive finished off by McCluster from 21 yards out. And we start the second quarter. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms here in Denver, with the Broncos facing a 2nd down and 8.
Well, we talked about it, Jim. You got to get your quarterback into the game. Either let him run it a couple times, but give him some easy throws to get his confidence going.
Pivots, looking, being chased by Ali, and completes the throw. That's Larson with the catch.
I really thought, just look what they do. They had very good success. A little counter option look. The first time they played a few weeks ago, the Denver Broncos, they ran the football 55 times, and they ran every kind of option you can run. They had the speed option, the 3-man option, the give and go. They did Eddie Royal coming in motion, handing the ball to him on receiver sweeps.
3rd and 1. And a flag first, as you saw Larson limp to the bench. He got chopped on that tackle.
False start. Number 68 offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
You go from a quarterback keep with all that power and that surge that Tebow can give you to now you have to bring in all kinds of different options.
Well, and I thought the Kansas City Chiefs, I was anxious to see some of their changes from the first game a few weeks ago. Today, they're putting more people at the line of scrimmage, and they're not trying. They're trying to shoot the gaps. In other words, be more aggressive up front and make the Denver offensive linemen have to think about who they're blocking. And if you make an offensive player think, you make him slow, that's when you take advantage of him.
Broncos trying to get their first down. 3rd and 6. Tebow cradles it and cuts for the first. Runs it for 7.
Well, they have it squeezed from the outside in. Watch Tim Tebow going to the left. That is just a good block on the outside that allows him to get out there. And then watch Tim Tebow. You know he's a veteran runner switching hands with the football. But the block down the field, that time Travis Daniels was over the tight end and got pushed down inside. Tim Tebow goes out.
It's 1st and 10 at the 32. Again, Russ Holstein at right guard in for Cooper, who will not return. McGahee running to that right side. And he falls right over one Chief player, runs right behind Holstein. Piscatelli was the one who had hold of him. And as we ring in the new year, we celebrate another hit season. And thank all of you for making CBS America's most watched network.
You know, Jim, that last play, that's what won the game, really, when it's all said and done for Denver when they played Kansas City. They just mushed it. They handed it off in the offensive line. You couldn't tell where the runner was, but every time you looked up, it was a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, they ran for 244 on the Chiefs. look at this move. That's McGahee, who was hit high, who's able to break free from Derek Johnson. He's got another first down in the gain of 11.
Yeah, it's really good job, Russ Holstein, the right guard, along with Orlando Franklin. Look how they push everybody down. And, again, the tight end, Eric Fells. And the wide receivers on this football team, they are tremendous blockers. And Eric Decker, he's the best.
Boy, Piscatelli had a hand in there inside the face guard. Was able to fight off and make the stop after a gain of 11. First time now in Kansas City territory. And another big run by McGahee down to the 35, and that picks up 14. This time going behind Orlando Franklin.
Yeah, this is the one you got to always prepare for, the old give and go. And it's a read, and again, it's good blocking inside. Holstein gets a nice block. Orlando Franklin, the right tackle. 2 successive plays. His block gives them the extra yards.
You set it downs at the 35. It's Ball, who carried it 30 times against the Chiefs in the first matchup. He is brought down for a loss. Doubled up there by Javon Belcher and Justin Houston.
Well, when you watch the Broncos play, that's the triple option that time. Now they do a counter option throw, which worked. The triple option lost yards. And this one here, just good blocking up front. Zane Beatles, the left guard, what a good job pulling around and helping Tebow get a few more yards.
Ball was set back for a 3-yard loss. Second down and 13.
Keep it, keep it, keep it.
Fake to him. Tebow with time. Has a completion to Thomas. Demarius Thomas. And the Broncos continue the drive. This one good for 17.
Yeah, you know, Jim, one thing you're going to get when you play, you're going to get single coverage outside. Now you look down the field, it's open. Throw the in cut, but he waits. And then what a nice adjustment by Thomas. He comes down, there's the cut across. Doesn't like it, he sees Tim Tebow move. What a quick move by Demarius Thomas to break it back outside.
Thomas over 400 yards in the month of December. Actually tied Calvin Johnson for most receiving yards in the month, including 2 over 100. McGahee short side. And he is thrown down by Amon Gordon. Just a 1-yard run. Now we hear from the Bronco bench that Spencer Larson, remember, he caught the pass and then got chop tackled. It's a knee injury and it is not expected to return.
One thing we can expect from Kansas City today, talking to Romeo Cornell, is man-to-man coverage outside. They want to make Tim Tebow make accurate throws down the field. Try not to give him no easy completions.
It's the 10th play of the drive coming up. And it's McGahee plowing ahead for about 4. So Spencer Larson, their starting fullback, is out for the game now. Larson was on the receiving end of Tebow's first ever touchdown pass in a game against Kansas City last year.
A little fake inside. Tebow, you think he's going to run it, and he throws a pass to the outside. But this is the pace, the style of game that John Fox wants. And I think that we knew that. All he talked about is let's don't turn it over and get back to what gave us a chance to win.
Lance Ball wide to the left. Eddie Royal coming over. Tebow keeps it, and he's able to get away from Holly. Tebow taken off near the first, ball's out. And it is recovered by Houston. Justin Houston. It was Kendrick Lewis who knocked the ball loose. It looked like Tebow was going to fight for first down yardage. And on the 12th play of the drive, the Broncos give it away. And the Chiefs off the takeaway. Handed off to Thomas Jones for 2 yards. That's the 8th turnover committed by the Broncos in the last now 2 games and 1 quarter.
Kendrick Lewis watching number 23 back, the safety. How quick is this reaction? Look at how fast he closes on Tim Tebow. Tamba Hali lets him get outside. and aggressive. There comes the fumble. What a job. Knocked it out.
It's a second down and 8. The Broncos have kept the football for over 6.5 minutes before coughing it up. Orton has a man underneath wide open. It's McCluster. And he's got a first down and plenty more out to the 36th gain of 19. How about Chargers-Raiders, JB?
Chargers doing their part to knock Oakland out.
And after a pass interference call puts the ball on the 1-yard line, in goes Mike Tolbert. They take a 14-7 lead. Remember, if the Raiders lose, Denver automatically wins the AFC West no matter what they do.
Back to Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
Yeah, can you imagine that? You lose your last 3 games and you still would win it off of a series of tiebreakers as Jones has another 2 yards gained. If that ended up that way, San Diego won that game and Kansas City wins here, that AFC West would have 3 teams at 8 and 8, and then you'd have the Chiefs at 7 and 9.
I know one thing as you watch it, Jim, this is our 3rd game in a row watching this Denver Broncos defense and the pass rush. You know, that's what saves a lot of defenses. They are not pressuring Kyle Orton enough. They didn't put enough pressure on Fitzpatrick last week or Tom Brady 2 weeks ago.
A second down and 8. McCluster having a big game here, and he zigs and zags for about 5.
Kansas City is really mixing up the plays very well. Shotgun, a little run, and McCluster, we've said a lot about him already, but there's a lot of wiggle in this guy, and he can get those little extra yards. Not going to break a lot of tackles because he's not big, but he can go full speed while he's making a sideways move and then realign himself and go forward.
55!
Kansas City over 90 yards on the ground already. And over 90 through the air. 3rd and 3. And incomplete, no flag. Goodman on the coverage of Jonathan Baldwin. Forced the punt.
Yeah, they do the same thing. This Denver defense can play pretty good man-to-man, and that's just a mix-up. Baldwin comes in and is looking for, he's going to stop and throw it right to me. Kyle Orton is expecting for him to keep going across the field.
Orton talking to Jim Zorn, the Seattle Seahawk legend and former coach of the Redskins. Dustin Colquitt's punt demands a fair catch by Royal at the 13. 44-yard punt. Broncos for the 45th consecutive drive will start on their own side of the field. Second time in this game, Dustin Colquitt has pinned the Broncos back inside of the 15. And on first down, it's McGahee with a good gallop. And all the way out to the 29, running behind Zane Beadles. Picks up 15.
Yeah, you said it right. Zane Beadles, the left guard, does an excellent job. Watch 68, then J.D. Walton, nice job. And Holstein, how about him coming in the game, Jim? And we've mentioned his name 3 times already. Good job positioning himself. And the Broncos, this has got to help their confidence, the fact that they're just lining up and running right at this Kansas City defense.
McGahee already was 64 yards, looking for more. Up the middle for a couple. And tonight on 60 Minutes, an investigation into the SAT cheating scandal and Lara Logan's skyscraping report on a climber who doesn't use ropes. That's 60 Minutes tonight only, CBS. Now the game at Arrowhead, Tebow handed the ball off 46 times, ran it himself another 8 times, threw 8 passes and completed only 2. One of them was for a touchdown of 56 yards. They won the game with 2 completions.
Out there.
He's got 2 completions in this one. And now looking for an option. Incomplete. Couldn't ask for more time. And it was thrown to Thomas.
Yeah, the protection is great, Jim, because they got 8 guys helping protect. What they're trying to do is go deep. So they've run the ball well. They're looking for big plays down the field, and the coverage outside by these corners was awesome. Watch it on one side. Brandon Flowers, there it is. Even when Tebow is waiting to scramble, they're all over it. And on the other side, Brandon Carr against Eric Decker, a double move, was waiting on it.
Watch game.
3rd and 8. Inside of 5 minutes to go first half. Ball was caught by Decker, but he stepped down, I believe, about a yard short of a first.
That's a good thing he threw it quick. That time there was a blitz coming from the top of the screen. Tim Tebow did not see it, but he was focused on Decker, did make a nice throw.
We talked with Decker this week and how it's difficult for these receivers to get into a flow of a game.
Yes, you know, I compared it to you and I talked about it. It's like saying to a shooting guard, well, don't shoot, but in the fourth quarter, we want you to hit the shot when it counts. So hard for these wide receivers to get a feel for the game because of the so few throws and a lot of times not a success throwing.
Britton Colquitt. He's got a beauty here. Down to Arenas inside the 10. Willis trying to get the angle on it. And Arenas squirms to the 19-yard line after a 55-yard punt. Still 7-0 Kansas City. Here in Denver, where the Broncos are trying to win to take the AFC West. They also would win the division if Oakland loses to San Diego. McCluster, no running alley this time. Held to just a yard by Marcus Thomas and DJ Williams, but he's had quite an afternoon so far.
Yeah, he really has. It's more than anything, Jim, it's the timing of the calls. They're catching the Broncos defense off guard with some of the runs. Now that one, just a nice cutback and a talented runner with speed to make it happen.
2nd down and 9. And McCluster, he has that career-high rushing total, but now he's going to be backed up by about 6 or 7 yards as Marcus Thomas makes the play for the 2nd straight down.
Marcus Thomas, number 79, he comes in unblocked. So the threat of the blitz, the timing was perfect by the defense. So the assignments were confusing for the offensive line. That's why Thomas was unblocked. When that happens, Jim, the linebackers come up there. The quarterback has to slow it down to let the offensive linemen figure out who they're going to block.
It was a loss of 7. Bringing 3rd and 16. Staying on the ground. And Thomas Jones gets the 7 yards back, but it'll be 4th and 9. And a 3-and-out for Orton and company.
Well, that's good game management by Kansas City, not taking a chance, understanding their own football team, and not feeding into momentum or the crowd noise here.
So it's Eddie Royal, who has 1 return for a touchdown this year at Oakland, 85 yards. Dustin Colquitt, who is number 1 in Kansas City history in career gross and net average. He's a lefty. His brother Britton for the Broncos is a righty. And his father Craig won 2 Super Bowl rings for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in his day. Jeremy Horn and some of the Chiefs are down there. They say, wait a minute, they say Denver touched it. But the officials say, no, they didn't. That's a 60-yard boot. So the Denver defense, led by Marcus Thomas on that big drop for a loss, forced the ball back to the Bronco offense.
And by Bose, the official home audio sponsor of the NFL.
It's a 7-0 game here in Denver with the Chiefs on top. Now make it 46 consecutive drives beginning in your own territory. This says a lot, too, about not forcing any turnovers here in recent weeks. Although the defense did make a stand a moment ago. They actually say the ball was touched at the 26, so it was brought back 5 yards, 55-yard punt. And McGahee got past the first wave and then is brought down by Belcher as we come to the 2-minute warning. That's a 7-yard rush. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Great updates today on this very busy and important day, week 17 of the NFL. So, fewest points scored in the last 2 minutes of the first half and allowing the most in the last 2 minutes, 60-10. Now let's see if they can change the tide on that. But got a first down as McGahee keeps driving the feet all the way out to the 45. He's had quite a first half here. 12 yards picked up by McGahee. He broke the tackle of Kelly Gregg.
Yeah, it's good blocking inside. Zane Beadles pulls up in there, but really it's Willis McGahee. He just dodges Kelly Gregg and makes him completely miss the tackle. So Denver You know, not a hurry-up offense kind of style they have, but they have 3 timeouts, and they're running it well.
He has 86 of their 126 yards total. Give him 2 more. Denver with 3 timeouts. Second down and 9.
Well, there's no use worrying. Time is really, in my estimation, remember what this offense is. So don't expect it to say, oh, we're going to just spread it out and throw it all over the place. They have to be careful. They're only down 7-0. Don't force it.
And they're going to run it with Tebow up the middle. And he crashes to the Kansas City 49, picks up 4. Timeout called by Denver. It's first with 54 seconds. Tomorrow, ring in the new year with America's best night of comedy. New episodes of How I Met Your Mother, 2 Broke Girls, 2.5 Men, and Mike and Molly on America's most watched network.
Well, Romeo Cornell, we talked about what they were going to try to do here today. Play tight coverage on the outside, trying to free his linebackers up to run more and make tackles. But I'd say so far, when you look at this game, Denver having really good success running the football up inside, winning some of those battles. They just got to mix in some pass game to really get this Kansas City defense a little off balance.
3rd and 5, they pitch it over to Royal. Eddie Royal makes the move to pick up the first and goes out of bounds to stop the clock at 48 seconds.
High alert. Eddie Royal in the backfield. He's not back there for pass protection. So there's a lot they do with him. Tom Bahali gets inside, can't do it. Brandon Carr not able to come up and make the tackle. So the quick cadence, the quick snap, Kansas City not ready for it.
He picks up 10 on a 3rd and 5. And now they have a first down at the 40. Looking for Thomas down the sideline and nearly intercepted by Brandon Carr.
Tight coverage on the outside, Brandon Carr. No move that time, no pass interference. To me, when you know there's a safety in the middle, if you looked at that last play, go to the receiver who is not bumped and that has bump and run coverage. Because when you throw into that type, these are 2 good corners. You almost have to be lucky sometimes to hit a pass like that.
Second down and 10 with 43 seconds to go. First half. Fake the handoff. Tebow trying to wiggle for a yard or 2. That's it. And now a second timeout by the Broncos.
Well, I know one thing. When you look at it, you can see it's going to be a blitz. So if you're Tim Tebow, maybe next year, you go, well, this run's not going to be great because when he tries to break outside, there's an extra defender there. Javier Arenas is there. They block them all, but the outside free defender makes the tackle. When there's a situation like that, you'd like to check out of the play, either throw it or have a different type of run in.
Again, coming up, the Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the scores and highlights, and again, another update on Oakland, San Diego, all coming up. Sprint halftime report. So you've got a 3rd down coming up. You've got Matt Prater, who's 12 out of 16 on his career from beyond 50. So you're in his range. This would be about 57 from here if they fail to pick up anything. Broncos from the gun. That's wide of the mark. Intended for Demaryius Thomas. So
had him open, just the throw got away from him a little bit.
They're not going to go for the field goal here. They bring out Colquitt.
Well, they're not doing it, Jim, because they're afraid if they miss it, it would give the Kansas City Chiefs time. Because this is not a tough field goal for Prater. I watched him kick it from 63 easily during warm-ups.
You know, you run the risk if you miss. Kansas City would take over from the 46 and still have time to put something on the board. So instead, Colquitt's punt. That's an unlucky bounce. Britton Colquitt. Fans aren't happy here. Just a net of 19 yards on the punt, 22 seconds to go in the half.
Well, you know, I'll say that first off, Kansas City's just going to run out the first half. You've watched this team play under Tim Tebow. You've watched John Fox manage the games. There's nothing that he did there that's surprising. In fact, I agree with what he did. Don't take the chance. We said it from the beginning when Denver got the ball. It's 7-0. Play it safe. Make your adjustments at halftime and see if you can come out and find a way to make a few big plays.
Well, they come out with Orton in the shotgun. Fires it down the middle. Timeout! Has a completion and a timeout at the 38. Caught by Dwayne Bowe.
Well, you talk about being aggressive. I am surprised about this. I thought they would kneel on the football. One thing, number 15, Breasting going down the middle was interesting, but Kyle Orton looks at the end cut, the safer throw, and puts it right on the target. We said it early, Kyle Orton's throwing it very well. That's a small window, and he put it right in there. Man, look at this, another perfect spiral from Kyle Orton. Jim, you even turned to me and says, boy, I don't know. You could say a lot of things about Kyle Orton, but it's pretty when he throws it.
Yeah, he spins it pretty good. Dwayne Bowe at the end of this was slow to get up, and he's still being assisted to the sideline.
Looked like he fell on the football when we showed the replay there. But Dwayne Bowe, excellent first half against Champ Bailey. Giving Champ Bailey a lot to think about. All the double moves, going across the middle, up the sideline.
16 seconds they go screen. McCluster is tripped up. DJ Williams comes up, makes the play. That's a big one. Not to give them any kind of big gainer here to possibly have a field goal attempt by Suckup before halftime. Timeout Chiefs with 11 seconds. That was a 3-yard loss.
I think it comes back, you know, we talked about this decision to throw the football here at the end of the first half. You know, Romeo Crennel talked about that too. It's just, hey, you judge what goes on in the game. You get a feel for what your team can do and what you should do. And so I guess he felt like being aggressive in that situation. That's why they're trying to take advantage of this last possession.
Romeo in his 30th year in the NFL. He's been part of 6 teams that went to a Super Bowl, including on the winning side of it 5 times. Former head coach at Cleveland. Second down 13, but the main thing 11 seconds. Knocked down by Bruton, David Bruton, who again stepped in for the inactive Brian Dawkins.
If Kyle Orton would have had just a little better protection, Jim, he is going to hit this route. It's the push by the defensive lineman. And you see there in his face, he couldn't follow through that time. The football hung in the air just enough where Bruton could knock it down.
Topper was the intended target. Bruton makes the play that denies the field goal try. That would have been a long one, but one that Suckup could have attempted. Now, final play of the half. Screen pass McCluster, who slips and falls at the 45. We got a 7-0 halftime score here in Denver. The Chiefs leading it on the McCluster 21-yard first quarter touchdown sprint. And we'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station, and you're watching the NFL on CBS.
Players Dwayne Bowe and Dexter McCluster. Well, you know, Jim, you know, you say it. Kansas City plays almost perfect on both sides of the ball, and they only have a 7-0 lead.
Orton was 10 out of 18 in that first half, 128 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Tebow, meanwhile, completed 3 of 8 for 29 yards, 0 and 0. Willis is the return man for the Broncos, and he must have been this out from 5 yards deep. Not a lot of real estate on that short side, and it's right back to the 20. McCluster with 59 rush yards, including 21 yards on the touchdown run. While McGahee's 13 away from 100. He's had 600-yard games on the season, second only to Arian Foster's 7. And he's very likely to match Foster's 100-yard game mark of the season. Again, Denver with the win claims the division, or can win the division if Oakland loses to San Diego, which is apparently the case. McGahee, another 6. He's picking up big yardage every time he handles it.
Well, Willis McGahee, that was just a good example. He's a veteran running back, not in a hurry, and not being in a hurry has helped him so many times. Nothing inside, and watch him break out. And Tom Bahali, number 91, watch him. He says, I got it on the outside edge, and it's a little too late. And the hold, of course, stopped Tom Bahali a little bit too.
He's had 4 runs of over 10 yards. On 2nd and 4, he shifts back to the middle, and he's a yard shy of a first.
Yeah, there was Derek Johnson. Haven't heard his name going to his first Pro Bowl. Nice job of staying there and waiting for the run to come to him. Makes the tackle. Pretty excited about finally getting the accolade, I guess you would say, Jim, of going to the Pro Bowl.
Yep, in his 7th year, former first rounder back in 2005.
Well, when you watch him play, he's just a middle linebacker who is a playmaker.
And on 3rd and 1, McGahee has the first down. These two teams met on the last game of the regular season 2 years ago. You're talking about Derek Johnson. And he had 2 interceptions in that game and ran them both back for touchdowns.
Who was that quarterback?
And the oddity of that is that the 2 picks came at the expense of Kyle Orton, the Denver quarterback that day.
I said, did you let Kyle know that once y'all picked him up? Oh, yes, went right there. But, of course, he admires him. Watched Kyle Orton play a couple weeks and goes against him in practice.
3-4.
Knows he gives him a good chance to win.
Yeah.
They go shotgun on 1st down, fake the run into the line, and Tebow taken off in traffic and a throwaway.
Well, let's be the quarterback here this time, Jim. You're Tim Tebow. Here goes the play as it starts. They're going to do the play action fake. This has been their best pass the last few weeks. They're looking for this spot on the inside. It's covered. And as Tebow scrambles, watch the defenders all run with the wide receivers. You work on this all week. Kansas City Chiefs executed very well against Tebow that time.
Tebow telling us he believes he's better, he's more comfortable, more fundamentally sound since that first matchup against Kansas City about a month and a half ago. 2nd down and 10, Lance Ball. And a good second effort, too, to gain 7. Lance Ball, a former high school teammate of Tom Bahali back in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yep, Tom Bahali was an offensive tackle as Lance Ball was running the football. And, of course, doing well enough to get a scholarship and go down and help Maryland, Boomer Esiason's old school.
Ali was his right tackle. Of course, played on the other side as well, as did Lance Ball, who also played linebacker. 3rd down and 3, and the Broncos have the first down. The connection with Daniel Fells, and Denver moving it here in the first series of the 2nd half.
Yeah, I know how they want to play, Jim. They want to be conservative, all that, but it's covered in the flat. Good job by Tim Tebow finding the 2nd receiver, the tight end Fells, and I just think they need to loosen up. Let Tim Tebow get more into the flow of the game, throwing the football.
First down from the Kansas City 48. And that's Lance Ball, brought down by his high school teammate.
Number 78 offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Clady called for that. That wipes out the run by Ball. You know, you've been hearing all week around these parts about late season collapses by the Broncos and feeling hexed after what happened at the end of 06, at the end of 08, again at the end of 2009 season, needing wins on week 17 on all 3 of those cases, and they failed to win in this very spot. So another down to the wire finish here in Denver, 4th time in 6 years.
I remember those games pretty well. You know, they win it, go to the playoffs, don't get it done.
Haven't been to the playoffs since 05. Trying to qualify today. First down and 20. Little play action. Just in time, gets it away, but he is walloped on the throw. Thrown in the area of Demaryius Thomas. He is hit by Justin Houston.
Well, I think this time, Jim, as you talk about this play, it's a play action pass. Watch the in cut. They're trying to do, again, go for the big play down the field. On the outside, that's Savvy Piscatelli. Good coverage. Here's the in cut. Tim Tebow sees it and is going to throw the football in there, but the pressure and the hit makes it go off target. But at least that time, he anticipated it and decided, okay, it's worth the risk, and he threw it down the field.
Second down and 20. And that run's good for only 2 yards for McGahee.
You know, the one thing I notice as I watch it, and we talk about Tim Tebow, is that he's got to learn what is open in the NFL. And I know John Fox, Jim, you heard it. That's all he talked about. Let's don't turn it over. Let's don't turn it over. But in this league, sooner or later, you got to make plays too.
That run was not
well received.
Not well received around here, but it gave McGahee 100 yards on the game. Third rusher of the year to top 100, to reach 100 against Kansas City. Fred Jackson, Sean Green, the other two. Third and 18, and it's a sack. Alan Bailey, the rookie from Miami, ends that series that was promising until the holding call on Clady.
Well, yeah, third and 18, not much they can do, and it's another blitz coming from the outside, and Tim Tebow had no resources but to step up to avoid the pressure, and Bailey, nice job getting the sack.
You're going to call that lost 3. And Britton Colquitt. See if he can pin Kansas City back deep again.
Defense, neutral zone infraction, number 44. 5-yard penalty remains, fourth down.
Britton Colquitt has, coming into the week, as many 50-yard plus punts. Tied, in fact, with Shane Leckler and Andy Lee, both of whom are going to the Pro Bowl. So Britton's had a very good year. As I mentioned, he was an unsung hero in the win in Kansas City, playing that field position game. Ball is fumbled and recovered by Willis, and the Broncos will take over at the 20. Javier Arenas couldn't handle it.
And you know what happened? He had so far to run to get in position, and then at the last second, there's the fair catch signal. And the fact that he came from the middle of the field, almost to the sideline, Jim. Remember the last one, he wanted to get there, because the last time he let it bounce, and Denver picked up 20-some yards.
Well, this is what Denver's been wanting. They're going to finally start a drive on the opponent's side of the field. First drive in 48 drives. Plus, it's been a long time since they got a takeaway. They had not had one the last 2 weeks when they were thumped by the Patriots and the Bills. Now they have one from the Kansas City 20. And that's McGahee, who looked like for certain would lose a yard or two. Instead, picks up 5.
Yeah, what a job by Willis McGahee. We just talked about it, Jim. Look at the penetration by the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Glenn Dorsey, Kelly Gregg, both in the backfield. But McGahee waits, sees a little opening, and picks up 5 yards.
McGahee telling us a couple of weeks ago, he feels like I'm more open to run it here, feeling like a rebirth of his career, as he is met right away by Dorsey for no gain.
Good job by Glenn Dorsey, the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked about it. They are crowding the line of scrimmage. They're trying to get in between the blockers more this game than he did last time. So every once in a while, when they guess right, you're not going to get it done on the offensive side.
Saw the graphic, McGahee with his 7th 100-yard rushing game of the season, matching Arian Foster of the Texans for most of the league. Third down and 5. Holly coming in on Tebow and able to get away. Now reversing field and throwing incomplete. Tebow's wanting a face mask call.
Well, on the outside, Tamba Hali that time against Fells, the tight end. That's a match that he's going to win. He did touch the helmet. I did not see him pull it, though. I think it's a good no call. Well, does he have the face mask as we see the backside?
It looked like his hand was initially.
Oh, there he is. He's pulling it. Yes,
pulling
that's
the
a
back
different
of the
view.
helmet
Yes.
off. So they'll have to instead go for the 33-yard field goal. No flag on that. It could have been a possible face
Delay a game.
mask penalty.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
John Fox is yelling, I'm sure, about that penalty, Jim. As you saw, we saw in that second replay, grabbing underneath and pulling it.
Yeah. A huge no call. So Matt Prater backs up another 5.
The thing to watch with Matt Prater when he kicks the football, watch how fast it gets up in the air. In other words, it's not going to climb up in the air. It's right off the foot. It's high.
We call that a launch angle.
Yeah, in golf you do that? Yes.
38 yards to put points on the board with this opening drive of the third quarter. And the kick is good. Kept the football for 6 minutes and 49 seconds. Prater good from 38. Not let up about that no call when Holly had hold of Tebow's helmet. Would have given them a first down.
Yeah, there's a good look at it there. Fingers inside the face mask, then grabs the helmet underneath.
Yeah, it was actually 2 different occasions it could have been flagged. And Fox did not let up here for the better part of 2 minutes. Technically, it was 2 drives for the Broncos, but not seeing Kansas City's offense out here for 7 minutes of the half. They had the giveaway on the fumble punt. So now we'll still see Kyle Orton come back out with a 7-3 lead. See number 82, Dwayne Bowe on the bench. He injured his neck right before the half. Questionable to return, and Orton has an 8-yard hookup here with Steve Preston. Got injured with seconds to go in the first half across the middle. And he hit his head, and they're saying neck injury.
Yeah, he landed pretty hard on that shoulder too, Jim, so that is a big deal. 6 catches for 93 yards in the first half. He's the speed receiver down the field for the Chiefs.
Terrence Copper has replaced him. 2nd down and 1. Down the sideline they go, and that was headed back to Preston for a second straight play. Goodman had good coverage.
We've seen how the Kansas City secondary, what they're doing to Denver's wide receivers. There's no difference. Denver's doing the exact same thing. It's just one-on-one. Champ Bailey, Andre Goodman, all the pressure's on you. You get no help. You got a safety in the middle. Your help is a safety in the middle and the sideline. Dennis Allen knows it's a good matchup for his corners against Kansas City's wide receivers.
He felt that this matchup gave Denver what he thought was like a same philosophy type situation that they see all the time in practice. 3rd and 1, beneficial to that Bronco defense, he felt. On the hip, Orton still has it, and the fake leads to the completion to Leonard Pope.
Well, that's what they've been doing all day. This Kansas City offense keeping it off balance. And obvious running. 3rd and 1, you say they're going to try to overpower us inside. Nice fake by Kyle Orton. Leonard Pope wide open on the outside.
Gains 12. Good piece of ball handling here by Orton.
Well, that's what you, and Jim, when you lose your number 1 receiver, now the coaches, they got to change it up. 51. They got to help out the players even more.
That picked up 12 and a first down. Orton incomplete. Going to Baldwin. As Champ Bailey defending. If you thought the fantasy season was over, it's not. Play NFL.com Playoff Challenge today. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans. Sign up for free. NFL.com/fantasy. So Bo on the bench. And McCluster with the helmet on the sideline at the moment as well. Thomas Jones, the starter, gets the handle here. And Jones has a gain of only 2. Jones' biggest game this year was only 55 yards in the game against the Colts. Jones, of course, a 12-year veteran with 5 different teams, from Arizona to Tampa to Chicago, where he played in a Super Bowl for the Bears, to the Jets to Kansas City. Over 10,000 career yards on the ground.
Well, he's had a wonderful career, still tough, great lead in the locker room for the Chiefs. The Broncos need Elvis Dumervil, Von Miller. Somebody has to pressure the quarterback.
It's a 3rd and 8. McCluster is in. And Orton's pass complete, but nowhere near a first. Baldwin brought down instantly by Chris Harris. Just a gain of 3.
Yeah, just a very careful play. And really, Kyle Orton sees a situation. He has to make careful decisions. Von Miller, just watching him, though, with that cast on his right hand, so tough to get leverage sometimes and just not able to pressure the quarterback.
Eddie Royal waiting for Dustin Colquitt's punt. Quan Cosby, who had been the returner in the month of December, was waived earlier this week. Fair catch. Royal, 17-yard line. Oh, look at this, still going on and on and on. 39-yard punt. 7-3, getting intense here in Denver. Early Week 17 headlines. Tennessee kept its hopes alive with a 1-point win over Houston. Texans went for the win at the end of the game from 8 yards out after a penalty and failed to convert. 49ers clinched the 2 with a win over St. Louis on the NFC side. And the Patriots were down 21-0 before scoring the final 49 in a win over Buffalo to take the #1 seed in the AFC. On 1st and 10, running the option with Eddie Royal outside, and he's able to high step past one Chief. That was away from Flowers and gains 8. So here's the latest playoff picture. New England is the 1, and Baltimore right now with a 2-touchdown lead, trying to lock down that division and the 2 seed in a first-round bye. Houston all set as a 3 coming into the week. Denver with a win here or an Oakland loss will win the West and be the 4 seed. Pittsburgh tied currently with Cleveland at 6-6. Inside for a first down. That's a run of 3 for McGahee. Here's your NFC playoff picture, Phil. Green Bay finishes 15-1. Matt Flynn today, 6 touchdown passes. 49ers get a bye in home field for that divisional round. New Orleans, in the way Atlanta is stomping on Tampa at 42-7.
Ram.
It's going to be Detroit at New Orleans and Atlanta at the NFC East winner. That's Lance Ball for 4. How about Tebow today?
Well, so far it's not been too much, Jim. You know, they've tried some option plays. Can't find anywhere to run the football. And not a lot of open receivers down the field. That was the big one. The fumble when he got outside. And Kendrick Lewis fast enough to run him down and make him give it up on a scoring drive probably. But some of these 4-12 just got to be a little more aggressive in his decision making when it comes to throwing the football down the field.
On 2nd down and 6, it's Ball. Picks up the first down. Again, he was able to shift and get away from an early hit and gain 7 in the first.
Yeah, you know, Lance Ball, you talked about it. Teammates with Tamba Hali in high school, but that was Belcher, the linebacker, who read it and came through untouched, but not able. Lance Ball saw him at the last second, slowed down, and Belcher went flying by and missed the tackle.
From the 37. McGahee returns, gets the carry, squeezes through a small seam for 4.
Well, that's why John Fox, his decision-making was very conservative at the end of the first half. They want the game to get at this pace, and when you're a running football team, you hear it all the time, Jim. What does it do to the defense? You wear it down, you get it tired, and when you do that, then you start to overpower it. These are some good runs by this Bronco offense.
They've got 161 yards on the ground.
4 down, 4 down.
They had 244 in the win at Kansas City. 2nd and 6. Tebow wanting to go up top this time. Can't find anybody open, and another throwaway. Tyson Jackson and Justin Houston were pressuring him.
Now watch Eric Decker. They're looking for that pass across the middle, and it's there. He does not throw it, and Eric Decker makes another move, thinking, well, if he scrambles, maybe he can find me on the second look. But the initial look, Eric Decker was wide open. And that's, you heard me say it in the first half, Jim, that's their favorite play. They've had good success with it.
He's 1 for his last 7 throws. And he's got a 3rd down and 6. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. That was Wallace Gilberry, who ends the series. Punting time for the Broncos.
That was a good job by the Kansas City defensive line. Watch them when they come off. Everybody stays in their lane. Then Gilberry, reading Tebow, jumps and knocks it down. But they're playing to make sure he doesn't scramble. They want him to stand in the pocket, throw down the field into tight coverage.
All right. Britton Colquitt again to send it down to Arenas, who fumbled earlier in this quarter. And Arenas stays away from this one. A backwards bounce. Sees it go out of bounds at 20. 37-yard punt. 7-3, late 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Droid Razor by Motorola. Droid Strong, Razor Sharp. And by Acura. Acura Advance.
A 7-3 game, late 3rd. Just what you expected?
Yeah, it was, Jim. I thought both defenses would have a chance to play very well today against the opposing offenses. One because of the style, and lack of firepower on the other side.
Orton throwing a first down, and it's incomplete. That was McCluster, the intended target, and we intend to send it back to you, James Brown, with Boomer Esiason.
Cincy narrowing the gap.
Remember, if Cincinnati wins, they're in. Baltimore's playing for the number 2 seed if they win. How about Bernard Scott around the left side, 25-yard TD run. Cincinnati closes the gap, 17-10. 3 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Jim and Phil.
All right, still all kinds of possibilities here. Late in the afternoon with Oakland and San Diego. That's an 8-point Charger lead. 2nd down and 10. McCluster has 6 with that one, running behind Ryan Lilja. How about the way Cleveland's been hanging up with Pittsburgh? Update on that, JB and Boomer.
Rashard Mendenhall's replacement.
That's Isaac Redman, and Coach Cowher said this is a purist game. It's pure ugly from an offensive standpoint, but Pittsburgh takes the lead 13-6. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Cowher would object to that characterization, but I hear you. Back to Jim and Phil.
All right, that's the game's first touchdown there. 13 unanswered for Roethlisberger and company. Again, Dwayne Bowe still out. 3rd down and 5. Pocket completely sealed, and the pass tipped and incomplete. Chris Harris.
Chris Harris, number 25. He is an excellent slot defender. How about that? Right with Preston, and once he makes the move, he goes underneath to get the interception. Kyle Orton threw it where he wanted it. Pretty tough decision. Got to be careful.
There was Quentin Carter, since the ball was touched, able to really body block Preston from catching the ball off the rebound.
Right, good point.
So a 3 and out. And a spiral heading down to Eddie Royal, backpedaling to the 15. Waiting, now going. Sidesteps, couple of hits, and he's out to the 29 with a flag. It's 58-yard punt, 14-yard return.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 34 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
Called on Kyle McCarthy, so that'll back up Fox's squad. You see the rushing totals for the Broncos today, kind of a similar pace to what they put up at Arrowhead. That's McGahee carrying a couple of Chiefs with him for 4 yards. Kansas City had 9 first downs in that first quarter, have managed only 3 since. All right, out west, San Diego puts up a touchdown in the third quarter to go up 15 on Oakland. If the Chargers win, what happens here doesn't matter. Denver would win the division based on the tiebreaker of common opponents. It would also mean Cincinnati would be in, no matter what, as the 6th team in the second wild card. Second out and 6. Pitch to Jeremiah Johnson. He's got that speed to get him to the outside. And he's got a first down. We'll close the third quarter. Kansas City leads at 7-3. After that 12-yard run, Denver will have a first down to start the fourth. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back for the fourth quarter. We've had 1 touchdown that came in the first. McCluster running it from 21 out. Field goal by Prater in the third from 38. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Lance Barrow producing, Mike Arnold directing, and the whole crew on hand. This important fourth quarter for the Broncos. Opens with a running play up the middle and 8 for McGahee. Now the Broncos have seen games like this before. Suckup missing from 44. That defense keeping them in it. Ayers with a sack. And Tebow getting a little encouragement from John Fox. It's fourth quarter time. It's Tebow time, perhaps what he's...
John Fox is saying be patient. Hang in there.
Lance Ball. He is blocked up for no game with McGahee. Tebow in his career has won 8 games as a starter. He's now 8-5, and 6 of the 8 wins, his team trailed in the fourth quarter. He brought them back to winning in regulation or overtime.
Well, you know, you look at today's game, not a lot of opportunities. We've shown a few plays where he should have thrown it down the field, but all week long, we talked to John Fox. You know, Tim Tebow talking to himself, and he heard it from the coaches, just don't turn it over.
On 3rd and 2, that is Lance Ball picking up the first. We've got another update. Back to you, JB and Boomer in New York.
San Diego putting a hurting on Oakland right now.
Bronco fans going to be happy to see this. Phillip Rivers 13 yards to Vincent Jackson. And as you just said, Jim, if Oakland loses, it doesn't matter what Denver does. They would win the AFC West.
All right, back to Jim and Phil.
Yeah, Denver, thank you guys, not only would win the division, but Cincinnati would gain the wild card if Oakland loses. It would eliminate Tennessee. A flag.
12 men on the field. Defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Flag surfaced well after Lance Ball was brought down after a carry of 6. He was a little gimpy getting up. McGahee back, and he didn't look so good either. So stable a couple of plays ago, but he's staying out there, coming back out there. McGahee slices in there for another 4.
Well, that was close. Willis McGahee, he breaks that tackle, and there is nobody back there to tackle him except Lewis, who's about 30 yards back in the middle of the field. So you talked about a little bit the last drive. This offensive line, they kind of overpowered and wore out the defensive line of Kansas City when they played in Kansas City, doing it here again today in Denver.
They got both McGahee and Jeremiah Johnson in the game, and that's McGahee up the middle for another first.
And what they're doing, they're just lining up in a 3-4 defense, making it really tough Linebackers can't get off the block, making it easy for the linemen to get up on the linebackers. And that's the key. This is a linebacker-oriented defense Kansas City has. The defensive lineman's job, contain the blockers, let the linebackers run and make the tackles.
First down. And the 8th play of this drive, all 8 plays have been runs. That was Lance Ball for 3.
Get off the Lance Ball.
Just a reminder, the playoffs begin next week. And we'll be there on Sunday. We don't know where at this point for wild card action. Not sure of the time either. That'll be set later tonight. Of course, our day will begin with the NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. They got McGahee limping around. Ball has been shaken up on this very drive. Ball's back out. And he is down to the 36 into the arms of Glenn Dorsey. Denver playing this in very similar fashion to the way they played down at Kansas City.
Yeah, they are. You know, and every play I think, okay, this is going to be the one. This is where they're going to do some type of move and try to get that deep throw down the field. The one thing I've marveled about this Denver offense, 3 or 4 times a game, they have gotten somebody open past the defensive pass coverage, but not today.
Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator. What do we call here? 3rd and 6. Tebow. He gets sacked. They're out of field goal range, and he is. We would have seen Prater on an incompletion. Derek Johnson and Wallace Gilberry, though, take him out of field goal range.
Well, it's a pretty easy play. What they're going to do is try to hit the receiver out in the flat. They fake it. You come across. Kansas City's not fooled. You see them hustle, and then they do a great job of containing Tebow in the pocket. Nobody open down the field.
It's a loss of 9. So just when it looked like they might be driving to take the lead, they at least changed field position. And this play right here by Willis will be helpful as well. Woodyard officially downs it at the 3. 42-yard punt inside the 5. Look at Willis. That's all you ask him to do. We send best wishes to Ron Tadano, one of our teammates, under the weather. This crowd has come to life here as Kansas City starts at the 3. Only 3 first downs since quarter 1 and a flag.
False start of the 73 offense. After this is the ball, we make first down.
Of course, you get down here, the communication between quarterback and center is so crucial, and they've got really one of the real survivors of the game, Casey Wigman, in his 16th year. You don't know how much more he's going to play, if he's going to play anymore at all, but remarkable man at center. There he is.
You said it, 16 years. He said, I still get nervous before the games. And I said, why would you get nervous? He goes, look at the guys I have to block.
Yeah.
I'm 280. They're monsters. They're much bigger than me.
Running it out to about the 3 is Thomas Jones. Yeah, Wigman came into this game with over 11,100 snaps, consecutive snaps without missing a play.
Well, he showed it. He walked into our meeting last night.
Taped and bandaged.
Oh, fingers all taped up, a big sleeve on his right leg, his calf. He shows the wares of fighting in all these wars, but what a tough spot for this Kansas City offense.
On second down, the Denver defense is there again quickly on McClain.
You know, Jim, they can't really overpower this defensive front. We talked about it from the start of the game. This is where Denver needed to win, was up front. Their D linemen inside are stopping the run. They're not getting much of a pass rush, but this could be a great opportunity to get pressure on Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton, who told us last night he did not feel appreciated here in Denver. Outside, Jones brought down at the 7. 3 and out for the Chiefs.
And you know what? It's a good call by the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't take a chance. Speed is what this Denver defense has. You think, uh-oh, he might have the edge. But Andre Goodman, what a job by him. Keeping the force. That way Thomas Jones couldn't get outside and get that first down.
Dustin Colquitt.
You talked about it too.
Got LaRon McClain shaken up. He was trying to make his way to the sideline.
Kansas City offense, Dwayne Bowe not in there. Hard to create plays.
That has been a big loss for them here in the second half. After that monster first half of 6 catches over 80 yards.
I'd have
90
to think,
yards.
Jim, if he was in the game, they would have thrown it last down because this Denver defense is not changing. They're playing to stop the run and putting all the pressure on their corners to cover those receivers.
LaRon McClain, who used to be in the Baltimore backfield with Willis McGahee. There's Bowe. Doesn't look like he's going to return after that neck head injury late in the second quarter. Crowd sensing it might be an Eddie Royal moment. He's on his own 45 waiting for the Dustin Colquitt punt. It was McCarthy who came crashing in. This will not be returned. McCarthy influenced that one. Out of bounds at the 49. Is it another fourth quarter comeback for Tebow? He's down 7-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by CVS. CVS Pharmacy accepts Express Scripts and over 5,000 other insurance plans. Verizon, the exclusive carrier of the Galaxy Nexus by Samsung. And by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at JaguarUSA.com.
A Denver drive that commences at the 49 of the Chiefs. And they run it up the middle for 3 with McGahee. For a guy that throws so much in practice and warm-ups, talking about Tebow,
yes,
they don't ask him to throw too often in the game.
No, they're back to the formula they really want to play. And this team, we said it too, this is the team that was perfect for them to play the style that gave them that winning streak, Jim.
Have you ever seen anybody practice throwing as much as Tim?
He sets records. In practice, it's nonstop from the time he walks out. I'll bet you he threw 200 passes today before this game started warming up.
4 out of 14 today. Second down and 7. And that's McGahee again plugged up early for only 2. So it'll be 3rd and 5.
And they're staying with it, and it's looks like Holstein is down.
Holstein, of course, the replacement for Chris Cooper, who was injured in the first quarter, and he's done a good job. And we'll take an injury timeout. All right. I hope Stein able to get up under his own power. And they'll continue action here. This gets really thin on this offensive line. Chris Clark will have to see action. They had a couple of players, Ramirez and Hills, both inactive today. And if Cooper out now, Holstein off to the sideline. That's it.
Here's where Kansas City says it's so tough when you play this offense. If it's 3rd and 7 or less, you still have to play run. And you think, especially with Tim Tebow in the shotgun. So if you put everything into the pass coverage, you're going to leave a big running lane for him to pick up a first down.
It's 3rd and 5. He hasn't run for a first since the first quarter. Instead, he tosses it here to Jeremiah Johnson for only a yard. So an uneventful 3-play series for the Broncos.
Wow, that time, this is the 3rd time they've run this play. And 2nd time for Jeremiah Johnson. This time the pursuit is much faster. Savvy Piscatelli just gets out there. So nowhere to run for the first down. And John Fox playing it by the book. Going to punt it one more time and play field position.
Inside of 7 minutes. Lonnie Paxton to send it back. The former Patriot.
Really just refusing to give Tim Tebow the chance to throw the football in a situation like that.
This ball bounces at the 5. It's got the side spin again. And down at the 10. Virgil Green downing it. 33-yard punt. 6.5 to play. Chiefs from the 11 on first down. McCluster. And he's wrapped up by Joe Mays, who's made some plays here in the late going, and this has been a real drought for the Kansas City offense. These last 6 possessions, nothing happening.
Well, just trying to find a way to make a play, Jim. Early, they got McCluster involved in the run game. You tried to see they threw the football to him, but without Dwayne Bowe, they can't just line up and say, let's go one-on-one and win this battle.
Von Miller has missed a lot of the action here in the second half, the Pro Bowl rookie linebacker for the Broncos. Orton's pass incomplete. He was looking for McCluster, who had Jason Hunter out there running with him. So just like that, it's 3rd and 9 with 5:53 to play. And there's Von Miller returning. It's been hard for him these last 4 weeks with those torn thumb ligaments, unable to really
to grab, to get contact, to get separation from the offensive lineman so he can make a move. And no matter what you say, trying to play with your thumb, if you're a pass rusher where you can't grab the offensive guy every once in a while, very tough to be productive.
Let's see if they have some pass rush here. They're blitzing on 3rd and 9, and Orton gets it away and gets the completion. Jonathan Baldwin, the rookie from Pitt, steps up to pick up the first.
It's just terrific pickup by, look at all the people coming on the blitz, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they stole it. They got somebody blocking everybody. Good job by McCluster coming back and making the block so Kyle Orton could throw it to Baldwin down the field. And what a throw.
Picks up 15.
Well, he knows that was big. Field position, time, everything.
Chiefs have not crossed midfield this half, but they're out of a jam, and a flag is down as McCluster, his play is whistled dead.
False start. Number 88 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
We'll have your playoff edition of Inside the NFL this week on Wednesday on Showtime. Unscripted, unrehearsed, unpredictable as always. JB, Phil, Chris, and Warren. Inside the NFL Wednesday. So Kyle Orton, before the season began, right after the lockout was settled, it looked like he might be going to Miami. Starting the season here.
You're right, that deal fell through. Miami decided, no, they did not want to trade for him or pay him.
Timeout before the snap by Denver's defense. Dumerville was limping off the field, and the Broncos call a timeout. Canavan, our director of production services, a grandfather for the first time, 2 hours into the new year. His daughter, Christine, giving birth to a little baby girl, Lucinda. Congratulations. 1st and 15. Dumerville is back out there. There's the throw across the middle to Copper. Bruton has hold of him. And Carter finishes off with a flag. He was late getting there. That's going to be 15 big ones on Quentin Carter.
That was a play similar to what we saw the New England Patriots do against this defense.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit from the 28 defense, 15-yard penalty.
And a rookie from Oklahoma will give the Chiefs field position near midfield.
Receivers switching position. Defense is confused. Oh, and he leads with the head. That is definitely a 15-yard penalty. Going down to a player that's on the ground, no question.
And for the first time in this half, Kansas City is on the Denver side of the field.
You know, it's interesting. They've been covering him so well, Jim, then they backed off. Kyle Orton got an easy completion.
1st and 10, McCluster. The whole group of Broncos away. Hold it to no gain. So here is Denver winning the field position battle in this half with a couple of good punts. And that last time the Denver offense had it, they did nothing with it.
Well, you just can't put so much pressure on the defense all the time, Jim. They've been stopping this Kansas City offense since the first quarter. So, you know, Dennis Allen said, yeah, we want to help our offense out. Give them some field position. 55. Well, they've done it.
2nd down and 10 with 4:20 remaining. McCluster tackled right away by Dumerville. Sets up 3rd and long.
Well, it's a draw play to the outside. They're reading the outside pass rusher, and Dumerville is just too athletic. He reads it, able to get inside and make the tackle.
And the Denver defense calls it second timeout on this series.
I think it's a good timeout. They're trying to give their offense as much time as possible. We've seen, to say they're not a quick strike is an understatement today. So they're going to need this extra time, Jim, to plod their way down the field to try to get the winning score.
What do you think is going to happen with Romeo Crennel, win or lose here?
I think his chances getting to being the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs next year are very high. I think Scott Pioli, when the season's over, they'll go out, they'll make a list, get the candidates, interview them. They'll interview Romeo Crennel again, and, just my guess, I don't have any inside information. When it's all said and done, I think Romeo Crennel will be the head coach, Jim, mainly because of continuity. You don't want to start over at this stage.
3rd and 15. They go screen incomplete. Pass was low from McCluster. Kyle Orton will come off the field. We'll take the team charter back tonight to Kansas City, only to drive back to Denver tomorrow to rejoin his wife and little baby girl Olivia.
They lost the battle that time. Good blitz by the Denver Broncos. They were not going to sit back and watch Kyle Orton throw it down the field and maybe win the game.
Well, here we go. 4 minutes, and the ball's coming back to Tebow and the Broncos. And they'll have one timeout to work with. And that ball bounces into the end zone by a foot. Bring it out to the 20 and take it out to New York. James Brown and Boomer Esiason.
Baltimore getting a little breathing room.
Maybe Tebow time in Denver. It's Ray Rice time in Cincinnati. He's going to go for 51 yards after a Jermaine Gresham fumble for the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore takes the lead 24-13 late in the fourth quarter.
Rice wanting more touches. He's got them maximizing. Jim and Phil.
Okay, you heard even Boomer say Tebow time. Wouldn't it be something if he did it again to win the division? They had that 6-game win streak that was snapped 2 weeks ago by New England, but in that 6-game win streak, embedded in that, a number of scripts and stories that are almost impossible to believe. On first down, he's wanting to fire long. Then down the field to Decker, he's overthrown him, but there's a flag down at midfield. Eric Decker was the receiver.
Illegal contact, number 42, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Top of the screen, Eric Decker, little double move. Piscatelli has it covered but stuck his arm out, and that's a good call. Just think about it, you're running full speed, somebody sticks their arm out in front of you, that's going to slow you down and alter the play.
Again, that's a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Yeah, that's a big difference between pass interference and holding. That football got away from Tim Tebow.
From the 25. And that's McGahee for 4. Denver does not have a 20-yard play all day long. Those fourth quarter comebacks, 8 total wins, 6 of them coming from behind. Boy, has Prater played a role in that too. Goodman's run back against the Jets. The overtime winners by Prater, including what he did against Chicago, tying it at the end of regulation from 59, then winning it from 51. Engineered by Tebow, of course. You know the story. Now can he do it again? 2nd and 6. Bakes into the line. Got a man deep. Nope. Unable to see him, and he is brought down by Justin Houston. Boy, the rookie out of Georgia has had quite an afternoon, including a fumble recovery and a sack right here.
Yeah, let's just watch it, Jim. They're trying to create a mess up here at the top. What a job by the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Oh, it won't roll here. I got a little problem with the clicker, but they were trying to create some picks with the wide receivers that time. And Kansas City They smelled it out, did a great job covering all the receivers down the field.
Crucial play here with only one timeout. 3rd and 7. Tebow's pass is batted away. Beautifully played right there by Arenas, who is injured while making the play.
Excellent throw by Tim Tebow this time. Eric Decker has been going down the field all day. This time he breaks out, but what coverage by Arenas. You said it. He bats it away underneath Eric Decker that time. Kansas City did not change its style of defense on that drive. They didn't all of a sudden say, well, we're going to give a little and see if you can march us on it. Very aggressive in all their play calls. Contested every single throw. And nowhere for Tim Tebow to throw it. He's looking at Eric Decker this time all the way. Oh, right from the start. One guy, I'm going to throw it to him. He made the right decision. Eric Decker was not open.
Completing only one of his last 9, and Arenas is still down. Second-year man from Alabama. And with one timeout and the 2-minute warning, Denver will punt.
I was curious what John Fox would do here, because they're going to punt it. You have the 2-minute warning that's going to stop it, Jim. And then they're going to run the second down play. You use your second timeout. So they'll get this ball back with no timeouts if it goes according to plan, probably inside their 20-yard line.
So Arenas has to be assisted to the sideline. We remind you tonight on CBS Begins with 60 Minutes and an investigation into the SAT cheating scandal, followed by Unforgettable, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami tonight only on CBS America's #1 network. Langford late to arrive out there on that Chief Special Teams unit. McCluster is the return man back at the 15. It's a low punt. McCluster has a chance to return it to the 30, 35, 37, 17-yard return.
Huge return.
And that was after a 53-yard punt. So here we are with 2:26 to go. Again, Denver wins the division with a victory or an Oakland loss. And the Raiders are battling back in that game. The Week 17 struggles for the Broncos. A franchise that has not been to the postseason since the 2005 season. Needing their defense to make plays again. Thomas Jones dropped for a loss. That's Mays again and DJ Williams. Timeout Denver. That's it for them. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. The game between the Chiefs and Broncos. Jim Nantz, Bill Sims, and all the crew here. Kansas City leading at 7-3. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety after the game, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen at its regularly scheduled time.
Well, I think there's no doubt when you watch this situation here, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to run the football, Jim, get it to the 2-minute warning, and then I really expect them to run it again on 3rd down, or if they throw it, it's a screen, something extremely careful, punt the football and make Denver drive the football to win.
2nd and 13. Thomas Jones slashing outside. No, does not get away from Hagan, who makes a tackle by the ankles for no gain. Take it to the 2-minute warning with 3rd and 13 coming up out of the break. Believe. That's what they're saying here in Denver. As they urge that defense to make a play here, we'll call it 3rd and 12. Broncos are out of timeouts. One play to give Tebow a chance to do his thing again.
Well, you just look at the time on the clock, know the situation, know this Kansas City offense has struggled since the first quarter to move it. I would be very surprised if they do anything but run the football in a situation like this.
They do run it. And well short of the first is Thomas Jones. Got an update again on Oakland, San Diego. Right back to you, JP and Boomer.
Hey, Jim, Oakland's fighting for its playoff life.
All right, Carson Palmer's going to find Kevin Boss for 22 yards. They're going to close the gap, 31-26, 9:37 left in the game. Oakland trails San Diego.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
Wow. So this AFC West is going to be decided in this 7 o'clock hour East Coast time. Out here in the Mountain Time zone, it's getting mighty interesting. That running play, just what you suspected, would run it down to about 110. And Broncos, again, no timeouts. Now the Chiefs take one with 1:12 to play. Been a different Kansas City team. They had over 200 yards of offense in the first half when they had Dwayne Bowe. They've been held under 100 yards here in the second half.
Yeah, Jim, it was that, but they used the plays that gave them production down the field. And once this Denver defense saw it, they shut it out there, and it was going to be even tough if Dwayne Bowe was in there. They can't overpower them up front with their offensive line. Jackie Battle, their power running back, out of this game today. So, you know, when you put all that together, you understand a little bit more why Denver manages the game the way they do, or have today.
Eddie Royal, I mentioned it earlier, has a punt return for a touchdown. Eric Decker also had a 90-yarder for the Broncos. So this unit, this punt return team for Denver, has produced 2 touchdowns this year. Dustin Colquitt. Royal wants to do something with it. He fields it at the 8. Long hesitation. Tries to get the edge, and is brought down to the 16-yard line by Richard Langford after a 50-yard punt and a 9-yard run back. 84 yards to go.
Always interesting situations like this. Now, you do not gamble and overplay if you're a defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs. Your number one goal, tackle them in bounds.
You saw the Tebow numbers, they're ugly, but if by some chance he's able to drive them down and do it one more time, they'll all be washed away. Out of the shotgun, and down the sideline, and incomplete. That was Eddie Royal with Brandon Carr on the coverage.
Well, the coverage is good down the field. Top of your screen. Brandon Carr, little hesitation, move down the field. And the Kansas City Chiefs defensive backs, Brandon Carr, Brandon Flowers, have been excellent today with those little double moves. It gave them a lot of trouble in their first game. They fool almost every team Denver plays, but so far, not today.
Second down attempt, Tebow in trouble. Rolling away from it, throwing, and incomplete. Remember, a sack at this time with no timeouts. It would be brutal for the Broncos side.
It really is. And, you know, I made that little comment. How will Romeo play this situation? They are up on them and challenging every step. We said to Romeo Cornell last night, well, okay, they don't throw it that great. Will you play some zone defense and help all the guys against the run? He goes, no. We will challenge the wide receivers, make tight throws down the field.
Tebow's misfired on his last 7. Third down throw. It is caught. Trying to get out of bounds. Trying so hard, but Flowers holds on. There's a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 92.
And that's a big call. Huge on Gilberry. That'll add 15 yards and stop the clock, as they'll reset it all the way out to the 40.
92, Gilberry. There he comes inside. Oh, it's because he went low on the quarterback. And that is a roughing the quarterback. It's tough. It's a very tough call. And you said it right. 15 yards, and it stops the clock.
Demaryius Thomas with the catch on that 3rd and 10 situation, plus the 15-yard penalty. Now 60 yards to go. Tebow's pass knocked down, incomplete, intended for Rosario. Would have used up a lot of time, though, had he caught it and been tackled right there on the spot. That was Donald Washington in on the coverage.
Well, how about that? actually came around the receiver, Rosario, and knocked it down. That was played perfectly.
The longest pass play by Tebow all season long, 56 yards to Decker for a touchdown to beat Kansas City.
Jim, you look at it. You look at these receivers. It is tight coverage. They're going to dare you to go deep down the sideline.
Down the sideline looking for Willis. Oh, he could have made the play. No flag. No flag as Flowers reached in and batted away from Willis.
You know, I just think these are tough situations. Brandon Flowers against Willis. He's in great position, but the underthrow, that's where you get beat so many times in a situation like that. That was a good job by Willis, cutting back underneath. And you can see Flowers gets his hand in there just enough to knock it down.
24 seconds to go. Sideline route. It's good for a catch, but it'll be 4th and 2 to go. That's Thomas with 19 seconds. 4th and 2 and 19 seconds. And no timeouts.
Well, you're almost forced to is to throw the football. If you run and get the first down, by the time you clock it and stop the clock, you're only going to have time maybe for one throw into the end zone. If you're a pass rusher, your main objective, keep the quarterback in the pocket.
Can they keep the hopes alive? 4th down. Tebow lofts it, and it is intercepted. And the Chiefs are going to win this game. That is Brandon Carr with the interception.
Well, what a job by the Chiefs defense. And it's really appropriate. The corners for the Chiefs played outstanding today. I know it's not a prolific passing attack they face, but they didn't give up any of those big plays down the field that's been winning games for the Denver Broncos.
And now the Denver Broncos have become the biggest Charger fans in the world.
How about Romeo Crennel, how he's going to feel after this game today, beating the Green Bay Packers, beating the Denver Broncos team that all they needed to do was win and go to the playoffs.
I don't think Kansas City will have to look too far to find a deserving head coach. The next man to lead them on. Crennel and Kansas City come in here and hand Denver a 3rd consecutive loss. 8-8 now. And now a waiting game. Can San Diego beat Oakland to give them the division? Or will the Raiders come back and win it to claim the West? Jim Nance and Phil Simms saying so long from Denver. Right now, let's go to James Brown in New York.